MC would say the next dance is a quick step. Now we eyed the girl that we wanted, I fancied, and that once even the next dance is a quick step, we'd be a stampede across the floor. In those old-fashioned days, the only entertainment for youngsters was the cinema or dancing. Well, there was always a Saturday night dance. I mean, I used to go to work in the morning, come home and have a bath. No, come home, have some grub, go and play football, come home, have a bath, and go to the Saturday night hop. Now, Saturday night was the night of the week. And the boys, most of the boys were a bit shy. So they go for a pint or two of beer and go into the hall and all congregate around the entrance. The girls were all lined up around the edge, waiting to be asked to dance. So the MC would say the next dance is a quick step. Now we eyed the girl that we wanted, I fancied, and that once even the next dance is a quick step, we'd be a stampede across the floor for the boy to get the girl he wanted. Well, there were two problems. One, the girl might not fancy you and say no, or what's the other problem? I've forgotten how the other problem was. Anyway, it was quite daunting, really. I never got refused, I'm pleased to say, but I saw this girl and I thought, oh, she's lovely, isn't she? It wasn't love, it was lust, of course. And I went to her and said, may I have this dance, please? She said yes, and we never parted from that moment. Now, normally after a dance, you say thank you very much to the lady you asked to dance, most of the time, and then you go back to the lads again and pick another girl. And even if you picked a girl and were dancing with her, a boy could come in and say, excuse me, he could take over from you. So it was a competitive world, really. Although that was our world. I asked this girl, Audrey, for a dance, and we stayed together the whole of the dance. And then when I was leaving, I thought she's so nice. I said, can I have your telephone number, please? And she said, yeah. And she wrote it on a cigarette packet. Well, I put it in my pocket, and the following day was Christmas Day, of course. And I got dreadfully drunk, which I shouldn't have done. And Boxing Day, I was in a bar, and I was going to get a cigarette, and there was that number. And I thought, oh, I must ring her. She was a lovely girl. So I rang her, and she fancied me as I'd fancied her. And then we slipped straight into a lovely friendship. I had a motorbike, and we'd go to the coast and go in the country and go out with friends, and we'd go swimming. You know, we led a pretty full life as friends, because she made it very clear in the beginning, you're not going to get me into bed, mate. If you think you are, forget it. It won't happen. Although I believe by then she was deeply in love with me. And you'd have thought love would overcome everything, but not in those days. Nice girls just didn't, and then into it. And you were told fairly on in the relationship that there's going to be no kissing, of course, and petting, but no intercourse until you were married. So we had a year, a magical year, loving each other without sort of realising it all. And my brother said to me one day, you're going to marry that girl, aren't you? I said, you know, Ron, it never occurred to me. We were so happy. Men are stupid, aren't they? I said, of course I am, Ron. And I went straight down to her father and said, can I marry your daughter? Your daughter. He said, of course, babe, nice to have you in the family. And so a year after that, courting and saving up, we got married. So it was 2 years courting, really. It was the girls that made the running.
Yeah.
I mean, they can be affectionate and make it quite clear that they loved you. Money even told you, I don't remember. They probably didn't tell you that they loved you. All you knew, like you and your wife, we had a beautiful friendship. And I think it's the best thing, because we became, in that first year, we became very good friends. And then the second year, we became even stronger friends. So we both married friends, really. It wasn't like today, you know, let's go and have bash darling. It was 2 years that I thought was I didn't know it at the time, but I know it now. It was a very important way of getting a wife, because you've got to know all about their habits, the way they ate, everything. I mean, in 2 years, you had lots of meals, lots of cinemas, lots of theatres, lots of everything. And we found out, of course, that most of the things that we enjoyed, we both enjoyed. So cinema we enjoyed, theatre we liked, dancing fell off by then because I didn't want some bloke coming and saying, excuse me. Well, I'd say to the women, keep him at arm's length, because if he's a decent bloke, he's going to stay with you. If he's hello darling, what about a shag? You'll never see him again. You could be having intercourse with a different boy every day of the week. And it's not sexually healthy, and it's not emotionally healthy. I think it's terribly important. I mean, it's very frustrating for the man. Well, in the beginning it's frustrating for the man, but directly he finds out that they're good friends, the friendship's enough, because that changes when you marry, and sex becomes very important. You know, sexual satisfaction is very important. And fortunately, we had sexual satisfaction. So I was so lucky. So, but to say it again, my advice is for the girl to say, not yet. Make a friend of him. If he's a friend, then he'll make a decent husband. If he's just a one-night stand, it might lead on to happiness, but I think it's more likely to lead up to being a one-night stand and boy, rather than being, we always say, a decent, honest man. Having been a boy, and the only thing that I was interested in was playing. You know, playing football, playing cricket, kite flying, swimming, all the things that boys do. And when you get old enough to go out, you can start going out with girls when you're very young, of course, but when you get to your late teens, then it's a different business than when you're before then. It never occurred to you to think about intercourse when you were 15 or 14 or even 12 now, and now it's horrible. I think it's not the way. I didn't do it, but I believe that many people suffer as a result of it. And the personality of the people isn't very nice either afterwards. They are very often hard people, hard emotionally. They will not consider other people. Like tonight, I was sitting with a dear old lady, beautiful thing, but she's got dementia coming onto it. So very often they give her food that people with dementia can't cope. Well, she had a bowl of fruit in cream, and I could see she looking at it with a big lump of it. So I leant over, took her plate, and cut it in little pieces for her and gave it to her back. Well, that's the sort of thing you don't do when you're young, but when you get old, if you see somebody's in trouble, you want to help them. You can't help everybody. In some cases, you can't help anybody. But the people, I'm generalising a bit, because I don't know that much about other people and what their habits were. But I always thought, when we were talking, and they'd say, oh yeah, I fancy that. I'll be in our knickers before you can look around. No, I thought that's not nice.